Welcome back once again to the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. I am Kyle, your host. With me today, as always, Jordan, Daryl, Trevor, and we're the Good Enough guys. We're just a bunch of chill guys, ready to talk about all things gaming and nerdy.
Always.
This week's episode is entitled, Let Me Hold Your Hand While I Console You. Console you? Console.
Yes.
Tomato, potato.
PlayStation has just recently announced, put out a statement even, that they are developing their own handheld that can play PS5 games on the go, as well as some other proprietary titles. So another juggernaut in the gaming world has decided to step back into the realm of the handheld. And this is different from the Portal too. What does this trend mean long term? Are we seeing the end of true consoles? Is this going to be the standard? How do we feel about it? And how are cloud gaming and digital purchases going to affect playing on PC and handheld systems as a whole? Join us as we investigate, deliberate, procrastinate, and just BS about all things that we think are in store for handhelds and gaming in the near future.
Yes.
So,
Jordan, are we getting a Vita 2? What's happening, man?
It better fucking happen, okay? I said I was going to lose my shit on this episode, and here we fucking go. I'm kidding.
You know, they could do the best.
Just
They
ring
could
a
do the
gong?
best. They could do the best announcement video for that. Is you just take the PS5 logo, and you just take the 5 and you just spin it around, and then just from the back you just get Vita.
Yeah.
And
oh my God.
Jordan is on his way to the store before that cinematic is done.
Trevor, I don't think they'll let him in the store with that big of an erection.
Hey. Yeah.
Sir, there are children here.
Oh, man.
What's wrong with that guy's pants?
Can we agree that the Portal is kind of underwhelming for what it was supposed to be?
Yeah, it's just like an extra remote in your house. Like, it's kind of a useless device overall.
I think it did exactly what they wanted it to. I think this
Tested
is
the market?
to me, honestly, this is like a, I mean, it's a prototype. And they just last week they just updated the software, so now you don't even need a PS5 console with the Portal to play games.
No, really?
You can, if you have PS Premium or whatever the fuck they're
Yeah, the
calling
high
it.
tier. I think it's the high tier.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, the nice thing for people that don't want a console is you can stream games straight to the Portal. So,
How does that
of course there's limitations. This is like a Google Stadia.
I was about to say.
I was going to bring that up.
That went great.
Our
That
friend
turned
of the
out real
podcast,
good.
Corey, is going to get real heated about this one.
He's gonna get upset, yeah. But like Amazon is kind of dove right into this. They've got their Luna stuff as well, and that's been around for quite a while.
Bro, Netflix is in the cloud game.
I was going to say.
What about didn't Steam also, like, before the Steam Deck, wasn't there also like the other, like they had the controller?
Yeah.
But I thought they were going to do like a cloud device as well, and it just like bombed.
Isn't that just
like
the Steam Deck?
No, the
Well,
Steam Deck
yeah,
does okay.
Oh, no, there was, I know what you're
There
thinking.
was
It was like a
separate,
little
like,
box.
Yeah.
It basically
separate
was
device.
it was a second screen emulator is kind of what it turned into. Like your PC still needed to run everything.
Steam Link.
That's
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Close, but not.
Renamed
and then the Steam
steaming
Deck.
pile of shit.
Don't mind the clack 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 of the keyboard there. I was just looking it up quick because
But
I needed to know.
Xbox is putting all their money into that basket right now. They've got a massive marketing campaign. I keep seeing fucking ads everywhere where it's just
this was streamed on Xbox.
Yeah, like it's a cell phone, it's a TV, it's a backbone or whatever, and it's just this is an Xbox, and that's the campaign
because they're losing the console war.
Yeah,
well, they've been losing that for a while, but
yeah. What Xbox is essentially going to do, which is kind of what they tried to do here, but not quite strong enough, is it's going to end up being just like a Dell fucking tower desktop with a bit more space and power than the Xbox actually has, dedicated to gaming, and it's going to stream like to your phone, to whatever device. They might end up, I mean, I could see Microsoft either investing or buying one of those handhelds.
Yeah. Honestly,
it could happen. I think that honestly, I'm just like, they're going to have an app on every device possible, and Microsoft is going to do what Google tried to do, and nobody took it as like, you know, a viable source of gaming, or like nobody really put their resources into it. I'm sorry, Corey, it just didn't happen, buddy.
No,
like
didn't work out.
It just didn't work out. They didn't have, like, they had the right idea. They were ahead of the time, but like, you know, it's unfortunate that they had to be the guinea pig of failure for everyone else to go, okay, we're going to do that too, but we're going to do it better. Like, and to me, Xbox
did it better. Yeah.
Xbox has the primest opportunity to run the show in that regard. Like they could do it all. No problem.
Yeah.
They have, you know, developers under their umbrella, so they could have proprietary titles. They could run this super, super well.
And that's going to cut like the cost of entry for a lot of people too, right? Like buying a whole ass console for $600, $700, $1,000 PlayStation, get your head out of your ass, is a huge factor in people not engaging in gaming.
Well, there's still a massive part of the world that does the majority of their gaming on mobile devices.
Yeah.
And so if they can now just buy a backbone or buy an attachment of some kind to turn their phone into a controller, and they can cloud stream their Xbox games.
Like, these are more expensive than consoles. Like,
yeah.
And everybody has
you gotta have a TV,
right?
You gotta have
Yeah.
But so like you can use like a Roku stick. Like you can use like a smart TV can have an Xbox streaming function.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. Can buy an Xbox controller, just sync it up via Bluetooth to a TV, and then you can just cloud stream your games if that's what you choose. You know, it's the entry point. Like Kyle's 100% correct. It opens it up to such a large consumer base. But it's that conflicting ideology, because a lot of that consumer base does not have the bandwidth and internet capability to run these games. So it's like,
imagine the data bills that
the
telephone companies are just foaming at the mouth right now, just
licking their chops,
God, we're gonna make millions.
Some people forget, like although in Canada, like we get absolutely boned on cost, we actually have pretty good internet speeds compared to, like, you look at like the average internet speeds, like even in the States, they're not great.
No.
They are not good. So that's where you always bring the questions, like, is it better to have something like a Steam Deck or like, you know, the MSI Claw or one of those others like the ROG? Is it better to have something that is a standalone, like you could stream with it if you need to, but is it better to have an actual device versus
download the game, play it, have like a
versus relying on the magical cloud?
Well, and I would even take it one step further. My concern with handhelds becoming so popular is it's even one step further for physical media. Dying forever. Because like
will break my heart.
I have an ROG, and like while I love it, I use it a ton. There's lots of different benefits to it. even games that are downloaded and installed onto my system, a lot of them still have some type of launcher program that has to open to access the license. And if I'm not in Wi-Fi, or in Xbox's case, if I haven't played that game in the last 30 days, I can't access it offline.
Yeah, crazy.
Even if it's installed on my system.
Oh, it's like the Netflix download model. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so like there's definitely there's a concern there for me. And like I know Daryl still collects physical media. I do for some stuff, not as much as I used to, but like I don't want a handheld to be digital only. Like
no.
I want the PSP discs to
100%.
Everyone needs to switch to the Nintendo model. Everything should be on an SD card. Discs should not, like, if we're going to talk about the future, it's like, get rid of fucking discs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
I'm not in my 1995 Honda Civic flipping through discs. Okay. Like, it was a great time, but
I did love doing that.
Most of them
82 Honda. How dare you?
Dare you?
Like, as we said, most games now are so big that it's not like they fit on the disc. So why not go with a model like Nintendo, use an SD card, one, universal, two, infinitely smaller. And if it's going to hold the whole game, I mean, there are SD cards that could now. There's like 250 gig. There's like 1 terabyte SD cards if you wanted to fork over the money.
Yeah.
But like, go that route if you want to go physical media. Get rid of all the extra packaging. You don't give me a game booklet anymore, bastards.
Yeah, and even the discs are literally just like small data points to access the download to get the actual game, right? Like,
it's just like an exe file that runs. It's like, we own it. Okay, go to the PlayStation Store, download the thing. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, aside from saying, hey, I own this disc, like, why are we going through this like song and dance?
Wasteful.
You know what? I think Nintendo started a ripple effect with the Switch. You know, the fact that
as much as we shit on Nintendo, we do that a lot.
The fact that I can take it on the road, but I can still plug it into my TV at home, and I still get that TV home theater experience. Like
that's where I think everything is going.
The ROG can do that. I think the MSI can do that. I know the Legion Go one can do that. Like, they are all pluggable.
I put this episode in for us to talk about, because the PlayStation thing was going on. I knew Jordan was going to freak out about the prospect of the Vita 2. But 2, I actually think we might have just witnessed the last of like the true console. I think this wave could very well be the end of the true console. Now,
I could see a PlayStation 6.
I'm just saying,
it won't be what you think.
It won't be what you think. The last two, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, have basically become as close to computers as I think you can possibly make them at an affordable price to access the games that we're playing on those things. But they're losses. Like, they build those things at a loss every single time. So what can I do as a company to now build a product that is going to be accessible to everyone? You know, give developers a chance to make something at a higher frame rate, a higher graphical output that runs like a computer, that does all these things, that I'm not pigeonholed. What am I going to produce and what am I going to make? I'm going to make a fucking thing that can play things on the cloud, because that's literally going to let my developers make whatever they want at whatever capability they want. It lets me make a device that I'm probably going to be able to profit from more than anything else previously. And I can cut down on materials. Like, as a board member in these companies, that's a no-brainer for me, man.
Sign me up.
Nintendo did this, and they made one of the greatest grossing systems in the history of gaming, and it's like top 5. It's like PS2 still reigns supreme with the Nintendo DS, but the Switch is like one of the most versatile pieces of equipment, and so many people fucking bought it because it does you know, to Jordan's point, you can play it on the TV, you can play it in your hand, you can take it anywhere. Trevor's point, it comes with SD fucking cards that take up no space. You can pack 30, 40 of those fucking things in a little wallet. Like,
take them with you.
And take them with you, and you are like, you are stocked and locked. You know, like you are ready to go.
It replaced the Wii while at the same time replacing the DS.
Yeah. At the same time, it did both.
And it was the same thing. It's like when Nintendo was like, we're going to do motion controls, and everyone was like, Xbox Move. Like, everyone's got to do motion controls. And everyone made a shit ton of terrible games. I can't imagine what would happen if Nintendo did like VR, because everyone else seems to be just shitting the bed on that by themselves. But
okay, so sorry, I looked up stats.
Oh,
you know how I love stats.
I love a good stat.
Yeah.
PS2 is at 160 million units sold. Next is the DS with 154 million. The Switch, which came out in 2017, is at 146 million.
Yeah, that's like crazy.
Yeah.
That's
like, how insane is that? It's only been out for 7 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm sure the Switch 2, like, I would probably get a Switch 2. Like the big thing I think that the Switch did, although the Switch, as much as we dump on its abilities, now that we've gotten the Ally, now that we've gotten these other like Steam Deck handhelds, they've really expanded and like shrunk the ability to have performance. And so now with the PS Vita 2, whatever you want to call it, we're not going to be getting games like Crisis Core. As great as people like Crisis Core, they made that game because you had to make like spin-offs for those systems because they couldn't
PSP.
They couldn't handle jack shit. Right. Yeah. Whereas now it's like, hey, Jordan, do you want to play God of War Ragnarok on your ROG Ally? It's like, yeah. Well, you can. It's like, holy shit, right? We don't have to have this side market of like shitty spin-off games. Yeah. Like these like kind of copycat, but it's made by the same people, like dumbed down games so it can run on your potato. Like we don't need that anymore. Like that has been probably one of the greatest things technologically with these systems is they're like, we can do this now and have it on the go and it not look like shit.
Well, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Obviously as time has gone, technology has improved. And what is one of the largest conversations in the gaming industry right now? It's AI upscaling. Mm-hmm. And so these developers now, they can take a game like a God of War Ragnarok, they can fucking smush it down as small as they possibly can to make it run on a handheld. Mm-hmm. And then you've got things like DLSS super sampling. That's like, hey, you still want a kick-ass image and a high frame rate? Well, we can fucking do that for you. Here you go. And like, I've used DLSS on a lot of my games on the ROG, and it's a game changer. It honestly is. Like, I could play The Witcher 3 at full 60 FPS, super high graphics settings, and the game ran beautifully on the handheld. Mm-hmm. And so it's like the fact that technology exists now, it even reinforces the fact of like, hey, give me a console that I can use at home with my surround sound. But then if I got to go on a 12-hour flight to go somewhere,
it's the dream.
It's amazing.
Yoink! I'm gonna take this.
As a kid, they're like, why does your luggage weigh 80 pounds? You're like, it's just batteries. My Game Boy just eats batteries. Like that's
no, sorry. Was that the Sega Game Gear?
Like, let me crank these things in here like I'm loading a fucking AR-15 magazine, just loading in batteries. Like, jeez.
Does it have the quick reload function? Just
you need that. Like I remember, like the old Game Boy, like the 4 AA's, and you just smack them in there, right?
Yeah,
it's like, it's true. My God, like
it's true.
Even just the concept of rechargeable batteries now, and like planes with plugs, just like wild, just absolutely mind blowing.
The dream was the fact that I could take my ROG on a 15-hour flight to Japan, and all I needed was my ROG and my plug. And I could plug it in, and I played Baldur's Gate for like 9 hours straight on a flight. Like, when could you ever do something like that?
Hunker down. Hey?
Also, great pick for a 9-hour flight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, it made the time fucking fly by. It was awesome.
That game, especially like flew by playing that any time I played that game.
Yeah,
no matter where I was.
It's been 5 hours.
You're stuck in this giant metal tube. Like, you look up, you're like, oh yeah, 4 hours passed, and I don't feel bad about it because I can't fucking go anywhere.
But
Exactly.
hey, buddy, don't look. I'm about to smash Karlak. Okay.
Yeah. Don't mind the bear in this scene. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I didn't choose this. It just happened. Like,
Yeah.
Oh no! It's like your parents walking in on you watching Game of Thrones.
yeah. Every time.
Hey,
what are you
Look
watching?
away! Look away!
You've got like the blanket cover over you.
Just freaking out all the other passengers.
Oh god,
Oh, man.
But
Yeah, like that's the fucking dream, honestly. Like, give me something that's super high powered. And you know what? I would, like, I guess here I'll ask you guys, like, for a new console, what would your thoughts be if, okay, it's plugged into the unit at home. I've got my PlayStation Xbox experience as I know it. But then as soon as I take it off the dock and take it with me, it's cloud streaming only. Like, because that's going to keep the costs down, I would assume, for a unit like that. Like, is that how you would picture this happening? Or like, what would you want?
There's still a point where I like the Nintendo model, where it's like, I have it with me.
you own the content.
I own the content.
Yeah.
I don't have to connect to the internet to use it. If I can, great. Like, if I need to get updates or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it's like, I can take this with me, whether it needs an update or not, and I can play it, and it'll run without, getting a bunch of notifications and being like, you got to connect. Like, I just want to be able to have that experience where if I have it on the PlayStation Store, yes, I cannot take 500 gigabytes of Call of Duty Warzone with me. Sorry, that's a limitation of the system. Or you do like what the PS5 did and said, hey, go get like an NVMe drive, which, let's be serious, they're getting smaller and they have crazy amounts of storage.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to
fast.
spend $600 and get a 6 terabyte NVMe drive to pop in this thing? Go fucking
go for it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Store whatever game you want, and then as long as you're on Wi-Fi, play, try and play Warzone at the airport. Like, whatever, right? Like,
I just
good luck with the internet and also like getting weird looks, but
security.
But like that's a possibility.
I'm at the same point where I'm also surprised PlayStation still makes things on discs, because I remember when the PS4 was coming out, the talk was that everything was going to be on a USB stick. That they weren't actually going to they weren't actually going to use discs anymore. That it was just going to be on a thumb drive or something simple like that. That you were just going to plug in, and that was your CD key. Like, that was what opened it up. And there's other programs and things that I've used now that, like, that's the case. That's just like the key.
I'm sure someone during the PS4 era, because they're all Blu-ray discs. I'm sure someone just fucking bagged, like, they're like, we need 8 million discs, and there's like, God, we got to get through these discs, guys. Like, use them up, order a couple more, and then we'll move on.
So I'm surprised that that's still happening. It much to like Jordan's point, like in your point, like the SD cards, right? Like, that's the way to go. That seems to me like the way to go, to have a device now that's small, that's easy to plug into anything, and kind of use that as your CD key, or again, even house the game. Some of those SD cards are massive. So that should be sort of the standard moving forward, if I'm being honest. Like, if we're going to have physical media, that should be the standard. And Nintendo kind of set that.
It also eliminates the need, like with PlayStation, to have this like disc versus no disc version.
Yeah.
Like, you could probably make the console quite a bit smaller, take out the disc drive, reorganize the internals, and then you have one edition.
Yeah, just one SKU. Yeah.
That's its whole thing. Same with the Xbox. You can probably rework like thermal. Like, there's a lot of things you could do if it's just like, hey, you just got to punch in, like, it's like a USB drive, right? Like, it's not hard to just pop that in and out.
No, it's super easy. But I don't think that. So I think that if that's the route, then you could still take certain games to go. Obviously, there's lots of games that are sort of Wi-Fi or internet incumbent, like you need it. But you're not going to be pigeonholed by like only having to be on Wi-Fi. I think like maybe the full-fledged cloud streaming is still too early to be like on that for just to Kyle's point. The internet capabilities of the developed world are still not there to house that properly. But I don't think it's going to be like that full switch off of like it's connected to this port. Now I can run everything the way I want to. As soon as I go handheld, it has to be cloud gaming. I don't think that will happen per se, especially not if they're running things on SD. But I truly think we're about to see you're either buying a PC or you're buying a handheld. Like, I think that's going to be the future.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like, here's your ROG Ally or something, and now you're connecting it through the PlayStation app.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this connects your home computer, your laptop, whatever. You can play games there, but you can also then take this to go.
So, and that's the other, I guess, interesting thing is at what point do we see like PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo? I mean, at what point do they just turn into software developers? You know what I mean?
I think it's heading that direction. They're buying these studios, they're buying these like development.
Xbox is pretty much games,
there.
But Xbox, Microsoft is pretty much there. Sony's kind of getting there now that they're on Steam with stuff. Nintendo's proprietary stuff, I think, is what keeps Nintendo so special as a company.
Well, it's what keeps them relevant, to be honest.
Okay. So I'm going to cut this off because I want to come back to this.
It's getting spicy.
And we can finish up the episode speculating and talking about the next steps for all these companies. But I need a little bit of music in my life. And I think it's time to give the old jukebox a little Fonzie there. And we can take it away trip with the latest Good Enough Jukebox.
Good Enough Jukebox. Okay, jukebox time. So anyone that's new here, this is all things gaming and nerdy music edition. So we talk about different soundtracks, movies, games, whatever, things to take on the go, like this episode, if you want to keep listening, aside from our wonderful voices. This week, I have another interesting one. If anyone this holiday season is looking for an extremely cozy game, are you a person that likes adult coloring books?
That's me.
Only if they have swears in them.
I don't know. So this is a game, and it's called Tiny Glade. So if no one's seen this, it's sort of a sandbox game, and what it is you're in a tiny glade, and you get to build these like fantasy style buildings. So you can build like your Rapunzel tower or like a little castle, and everything's kind of in like a tilt shift view.
Yeah.
And like the customization in this game is wild. But the soundtrack for this game is obviously one to talk about today. It is like the coziest soundtrack ever. Like, think of, when I wrote this down, I was thinking of Daryl. I was like Chocobo Farm. Like RPG town music. I was playing this one night. I had the soundtrack playing and I was making dinner and my wife came in and she's like, why do I feel like I'm scavenging for like herbs right now? Like, that was her exact line, like unprompted. She's like, are we like foraging for things right now? Nice. Like, this is so cute and like calming. But yeah, that whole game, everything about it is just like the most chill game, I think.
The game looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's a really cool art style, and you just get to build these like, you know, your little castles, and you get to customize it and make it the way you want. And there's different seasons, and there's like little critters running around and stuff like that. And so it's totes adorbs, but it's the soundtrack for it is also very good. So, you know, studying on the go if you just want to chill out. Tiny Glade.
Sick. That's a good one, T.
Yeah.
Out of fucking left field.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
That's the theme for this year. Just like the weirdest.
Yeah, I like it. That's cool.
Dig it.
Well done.
So, we maybe Trevor's music wants us to hold hands in a tiny glade. Bringing it back to our handheld systems. What do you like that transition? That was terrible.
That was awful. I have a dog named Segway.
I know. What do we see for the future? Like, I know Nintendo's been like, hey, Switch 2, but hasn't really given any details about it. Daryl's got his tinfoil hat on, talking about the future of the industry and how everything is going handheld.
Hey, mark this down in the calendar for when it actually happens. Because if I'm right, put me on the board of somebody's directors, man. Because if I'm right, I deserve to be sitting at the table.
Compensation.
Yeah. My biggest thing is like, if it goes that route, I still just don't want it to be fully cloud based.
Yeah.
Because if it's entirely cloud based, that means that at any point they can take their data back.
They can
and you
shut
are no
off the
longer
valve,
allowed to play Concord. Wah, wah.
Oh yeah. That's my concern about like not having physical media. That's always been my concern, is what happens when it's gone.
Game preservation, man.
So there are certain games, like to Jordan's point, I will always buy physical if I can.
Yeah. And you get to keep those, right? Like we're in this era where we don't necessarily like we pay a subscription to listen to music, but we don't own the music.
No.
We pay a subscription to access PlayStation games, but we don't own the games. We buy games digitally, but we don't own them. It's just a license. Which is why, like, I think physical media still has, like, very much has space in the system. And it should, because people have a right to own the things that they have purchased.
Yeah. And you're consuming regularly.
Yes.
Part of the reason why handhelds have stuck around as long as they have too, especially the old ones, is because they're now becoming like a part of history for game preservation, where you've got all these modders that are, they're buying an old 3DS for $40 on eBay, and then they're modding the shit out of it with every game they can get their hands on, and then they're flipping it and selling that to a consumer. And I don't hate it, because there are a lot of games from previous generations that, unless you find a torrent or a ROM of them, they are impossible to play. You can't find them. You can't rent them.
Yeah.
Obscenely expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
I have a couple games in my collection that are worth more than the systems I own.
Yeah.
Really?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because if you have the physical copy.
I need an example now.
Look at what the Fire Emblem game for the Wii costs now.
Radiant Dawn?
Yep.
Buy. Let's see. I see like $148 pre-owned.
$200, $280.
Look at what it costs at a 10 out of 10 fully complete in box.
Yeah. A 9.6 is $340. This is the one I'm seeing on eBay. And that's a Wii game.
Yeah.
That's not even a full-size disc. That's a mini disc. Oh no! Wait, did we go back to the full-size disc? I'm thinking GameCube.
Yeah.
I thought they stuck with that for. Remember
now
when
look
that
at
was
what
the
GameCube? Now look at what GameCube Fire Emblem is worth.
Oh yeah, GameCube games are some of the most expensive games out there.
Which is so weird.
Path of Radiance.
So hard to
God damn, dude.
Now I own that complete in box. Probably 9.5 out of 10 quality.
For our listeners, Kyle, what number are you seeing?
Like 300 plus. Okay, there's one on here that is just the disc. Just disc. $225.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen complete in box 9.5 out of 10. That game is $700 to $800.
That's wild. That's like trying to find, like, Jordan and I have talked about this so many times. That's like trying to find like Heart Gold or Pokemon Soul Silver.
Yeah.
Yep.
They made like 50 of them. They're like, we're going to make this awesome remake, but we're only going to make 200 of them and never do anything about it ever again. And then like you see one at, you know, a game con or something, and someone's got it in the booth wrapped up and it's like $1,000. It's like,
it's crazy.
Fucking Game Boy game. Meanwhile, I went and bought like the hacked, not the whole system, but like the SD cards you can get on Amazon with, you know, 100 games on it. I'm like, cool. Heart Gold, Soul Silver is on here. I'm happy. Like, that's all I need.
Yeah, some of the hardest games to find in physical copies are Vita games, PlayStation Vita.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
Not
sense.
only are they hard to find, but even if you do find them, the price is astronomical.
Yeah.
So like that was a system I did not feel bad in the slightest modding.
No.
And,
no.
You know, it was the best decision for that handheld, because now I've got access to a bunch of games that if I didn't buy them at launch when they released in like 2013, it'd be impossible for me to play.
You'd be out thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
For the, you know, the 15 games they made for that system.
But anyways, I appreciate physical media still, and I think like it's important, to Kyle's point. Like I think it's important that we still have some protection of that, and like and have some avenue for that.
Yeah. Because I mean, we live in such a digital age now, where like everything is just on our phone, and ownership feels ambiguous sometimes.
Oh, it's a gray area.
Big time.
Even just like, I mean, like this is branching out into like beyond gaming systems, but like the right to repair.
Oh,
And that's a whole other bag of worms.
Yeah.
But this is still like a greater thing. It's like, do we own the media, or do we just own the rights to use it? And that's something that's worrisome, that having just like mobile systems, like I'm going to call them mobile consoles, because that's to me, that's what
it's like a mobile computer now.
Yeah.
That's
that's where
that's what the Claw, that's what the Steam Deck, that's what the Ally are. It's a mobile console.
Yep.
We are buying digital licenses to that. And if for some reason, out of nowhere, let's say Steam shuts down.
Oh God, the world would end.
You lose all of that.
The economy would tank.
What happens? I mean, some people have like tens of thousands of dollars into Steam.
You would
all
hear
from one Steam sale.
You would hear a collective scream across the world.
Yeah, but
if
like
Steam blew up.
If that happens, every
What do you
purchase
do?
you made is gone. You don't own it. You own a license to access it.
That's
So
like taking
that is-
money and lighting it on fire.
Don't we
Yes.
just do that usually?
Yeah.
But that is the big concern here when it comes to shifting to mobile consoles
Yeah. I think
and digital licenses.
It's a calculated thing though. Like again, if I'm sitting in that boardroom and I'm talking about how we can maximize profits and like
They
what's
know
the
what they're
future of
doing.
our company,
subscription fees, motherfucker.
this
the
makes sense to me. Like
get rid of the $700 brick that sits in my TV stand. Like
That we lose money on every sale.
Yeah.
give me the thing that my consumer can play all the time and everywhere now. Like that's like give me the, you know, I just see this being kind of the final phase of being like, okay, all these other guys are making and selling these things. Asus has made one, MSI, like everybody's making these things. They're selling, people are using them. It's successful. Let's go. Let's get into it. Let's you know, buy
get on
into
the
this.
train.
Xbox has basically decided, we're going to be a cloud gaming. We're going to be like an app on everybody's device possible. You know, you can play again, you can play Xbox on the phone, on the computer, on your TV, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're going to be accessible anywhere you go. We don't care what your device is. And if PlayStation's smart, they're going to get into the transportable mobile console, as Kyle said, compete with Nintendo, because somebody has to. Otherwise, Nintendo is going to run away with this again.
Well, and it's not like Sony hasn't been successful in that space. I mean, yes, the Vita was a failure and they didn't support it.
But the PSP wasn't.
For the longest time, the PSP was in like the top 5 or 6 most units sold ever for video games.
And man, did they pump out some solid collector edition ones. When you went to Japan and some of the ones that you sent us, I was so fucking jealous.
That was PlayStation going full Nintendo with that system.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to compete with like the Game Boys at the time, which would have been like the advanced and maybe the early DS.
Yeah, maybe the original,
that first purple one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're like, we got to compete with that, and it did so good. But that's I think the big thing
they were putting those things in Pimp My Ride into the cars on that. Like,
oh god, I forgot about that.
True sign of success.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, it was because the PSP, if you compared it to whatever the Nintendo handheld was, the PSP
superior
was a stronger system.
Oh yeah,
it could play better games, and you had a larger selection to choose from. So they could do the exact same thing again with a modern handheld.
Yeah, and honestly, if PlayStation decides to just say fuck it and go the full Steam route, like the full Xbox Microsoft thing, and just say no more consoles, we're going to release everything we do on PC, and go onto the Steam library, and then it's like if you buy it, you have your Ally, you have whatever, and you're logged in, download it just like a regular Steam account. Like I don't see
Steam ahead.
Aside from owning the physical content, which if they moved to PC, most PCs don't have disk drives anymore. So whether that becomes a USB stick or an SD card, which is still like a fairly manageable product, you could still do physical and still have a way to say, here's your hub game, play it on your PC at home, or take it on the go, assuming you can download and function that game on your choice of handheld device. But hey, we made the PlayStation one because it's better for PlayStation, right? They're going to put some proprietary shit in there.
Of course.
That makes PlayStation games way better than on another system.
Yeah.
But
so I think we can firmly remove our tinfoil hats.
Nope. I'm not ready.
No.
Waiting for it to happen. I want to see it first. First, I want to see the Switch 2 actually get announced, not just like slowly like trickle leaked.
I want to see what PlayStation's calling the next thing. I want to know what it's called.
I want a Nintendo Direct that's like 30 to 40 minutes long that gives me a full fucking breakdown of the system. That's what I want.
And that's the thing is we're stuck here waiting right now for these companies to unveil their things. But I mean, I think our predictions are actually pretty solid. Like as of like November 2024, I think we're onto something because we know our shit, right?
Yeah. Vita's coming back. PS6 is a maybe. There's been leaks. Xbox probably won't continue.
In the same capacity.
Game Pass is going to be a service. Like it is.
Yeah. And
I mean, well, that's why you're seeing Xbox games on PlayStation now. They don't care where you play their game.
Nope. And they can't compete.
Buy their game.
Yeah, they need to support their studios because their system is not.
Yeah, because having exclusives is not helping right now.
No.
And for you, like for anybody that's exclusive to Xbox, like it's not. We're not pulling number like. The facts are there. Xbox, yeah, we love you. I have an Xbox Series X. I've always liked the Xbox.
Game Pass all the time.
Yeah, like it has its merits, but it's always lost the console war. Like it is always lost.
Yeah,
the Xbox 360 was the best chance they had, and it's still lost.
It was close. Yep.
Yeah.
PlayStation's just got too many good exclusives.
Yeah.
They've also got some absolute dog shit exclusives, but they have more good exclusives.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, I think we can summarize this episode one way. Give us a PlayStation Vita 2! Come on! God damn it!
Well,
Jordan doesn't even want to play games on it. He just wants to have it.
I just want to hold it.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised. Like it's funny. Like I'm very pleased with how many kudos we gave Nintendo this episode.
I know.
It doesn't happen often.
Their systems don't run well, but they have been the most innovative of any company when it comes
They're
to
not
like their
afraid
consoles
to
are
mix it up.
always so wild,
Yeah.
and everyone catches up, but they just do it with a little extra knowledge and power. But hopefully the Switch 2 turns around a bit. I like Nintendo games. I want to play some Nintendo games, but I'm not going to buy a Switch now because now we've been being told the Switch 2 has been coming for like a year and a half.
Yeah, so you just hold out.
I'm just
Give me a
my breath.
Pokemon game that actually runs well. That's
Oh, you're asking for too much now.
That's the line. There's the line.
Yeah.
We found it.
It hurts knowing you're right, Daryl. It hurts.
Yeah. All right. Well, a little bit of a shorter one today, but that's totally okay. I'm really curious to hear what other people think.
Yeah, please let us know. I'm interested in everyone's take on this one for sure.
Yeah. Comments.
Is the future portable consoles, or are we totally off base? But from us to you here at of course you wore that fucking shirt. From us here at Good Enough Gaming, we hope you enjoyed listening. We appreciate you listening. I think that was good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Good enough.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more content. We also invite you to write an email or join us on Discord to talk about anything from our episodes or something else you would like to discuss in the future. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. And remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.